Mary Robinette is next. Mary Robinette is our next featured novelist.
Good evening. So I'm going to read to you from the second book, but I have carefully selected a section that has no spoilers except for this one thing. But since the book is called a Lady Astronaut novel, I trust that no one is going to be shocked that in the second book she's an astronaut. This is set in the first book is 1952. I slam an asteroid into Washington, D.C., kicking off the space race early. It's kind of Hidden Figures meets Deep Impact. The second book is about 10 years later. The thing about wearing a spacesuit on Earth is that it's designed for lower gravity. Even being in the Neutral Buoyancy Lab's pool didn't change the fact that gravity pulled at me. Sure, it didn't pull at the suit, but inside it, I slid around every time I changed orientation. As a woman, I was smaller than the men the suits had been designed for, so I had to wear padding around my hips to sort of wedge me in. This kept the air bubble surrounding me inside the suit distributed evenly, allowing me to move from horizontal to vertical over the course of the NBL run without fighting gravity. Without the pattern, the air bubble acted like a giant beach ball strapped to my stomach, always wanting to be pointed up at the surface. It made it difficult to roll any other way. In truth, having an air bubble inside the suit wouldn't be a problem in space, but the NBL was where people decided if you had what it took to do a spacewalk. So neither I nor any of the other women would complain. No, sir, everything was splendid and we were happy to be in the pool. I hung sideways in the water with the fiberglass shell digging into my armpit. My neck burned from holding my head up inside my helmet. My fingers ached from forcing my stiff gloves to close on the edge of the solar panel that we were practicing repairing. With the suits pressurized to 4.9 psi above ambient pressure, every movement felt like working against a heavy-duty spring. It wasn't exactly like working in a vacuum, but it gave us a sense of how exhausting it would be. A wrinkle in my glove felt like a metal wire across my knuckle as the pressure made it rigid. But if you asked me how I was doing, I would have been so very, very chipper. On the other side of the panel, Rafael Avelino swore in Portuguese as his glove slid off the wrench. Our support divers floated in a pod around us and let the wrench drift away. Their job was to keep us safe, and ours was to learn how to do repairs in zero-G. Tethered to the MWS, or mini workstation, on the chest of his spacesuit, the wrench didn't go far, but it was still a pain reeling it in. As Rafael's... Can someone bring me a cup? Because I just suddenly realized I can do a thing that I did in the audiobooks. Perfect. I narrate my own audiobooks. As Rafael's curses buzzed over the comm, tethered to the space station. The wrench didn't go far, but it was still a pain reeling it in. As Rafael's curses buzzed over the comm, I grinned inside my helmet. I'm beginning to understand why Parker's learning Portuguese. On my left and slightly below me, Leonard helped me steady the panel as Rafael got the wrench back into place.
We don't need more languages to swear in. I've just got Latin and Greek, and there's only so far that can take you. Oh yeah? What's a Latin curse like?
Rafael placed the wrench again and reseated his feet in the foot restraint secured in a WIF mechanical receptor on the mock-up exterior of our craft. What does WIF stand for? No idea. At a certain point, the acronyms just become the name. WIF was Widget Interface Forget About It? One of the many benefits to building the cups in space was that we didn't have to worry about aerodynamics. Whiffs and grips covered the surface of the ship. Rafael's wrench slipped again, but he didn't lose his grasp.
Because I could use some more now.
Leonard hesitated and then chuckled.
Actually, most of them aren't things that I can say in mixed company.
Please? I braced against my foot restraint as Rafael finally got the wrench engaged. Say the fucking Latin. That got a huge laugh from both men, though my face flamed at having said it. Thank God the helmets meant that they couldn't see me clearly. Even for a laugh, that kind of language was still not in my normal vocabulary. And then, predictably, Jason Sao, our simsup du jour, crackled into our ears.
Language. Vai me puto con cave me.
Leonard intoned with great solemnity. Raphael's head came up in his helmet.
Huh. That is close enough to Portuguese that I actually understood it. Mostly. Gentleman. Lady.
For a guy from Chicago, Sao could be so prim sometimes.
We have visitors and they are listening.
The three of us exchanged glances and Raphael rolled his eyes.
What language do they speak? English.
Through the microphone, we could just make out someone talking in the background, but not the substance of the conversation. The SimSoup's response was sharp and biting.
No, bringing them up early is absolutely out of the...
And then his mic cut off. What had that been? Through the water, I couldn't see what the guys thought, so I just stood there bracing the panel. It wasn't like the SimSoup to leave his mic open, which raised the question of what sort of visitors would distract him that badly, to say nothing of who might be asking us to come out of the NBL run early. Raphael got that bolt tightened down, and we moved on as a unit to extend the next piece of the panel. This was the 4th time that we'd done this particular NBL run, and each time we got a little faster. Of course, it wasn't likely that I would be the one doing the EVA, but the IAC believed in over-preparation. And after my late start, I supported them in that. Besides, it would make being the IVE person, the intravehicular person, easier if I knew what they were facing. Given the communication lags we would have during the mission to Mars, we couldn't rely on ground control to coach the EV team in every scenario.
Folks, we're going to stand down on extending the array.
The SimSoup's voice crackled, then the microphone rustled and shifted as though he were handing it off. We floated underwater with the constant hum of fans and the sound of our own breath as company. Then Director Clemens came on the comm.
We have to pull Dr. Flattery out, but Dr. York and Captain Avellino will stay and walk through the cleanup. Dr. Flattery, I need you out of the tank, pronto.
Leonard drew a breath as if he were going to argue, then snapped his mouth shut so hard he heard his teeth click.
Yes, sir. See you topside.
I am ashamed to say that my primary emotion was not curiosity or even annoyance that our training had been interrupted, but relief that, for once, it wasn't me. Leonard turned from us and let the divers drag him through the water to the platform that would carry him to the surface. Raphael and I floated in the pool. I let my head slump against the side of our helmet and closed my eyes for a moment while our support divers reconfigured the ship mock-up to the end state of the run. It took so long to get into the suits that it made sense to let us practice the end of the run while we were already down there. I kept listening to the comm, waiting for Sao to tell us something else about what was happening with Leonard. When the divers were ready for us, we started the run again, but kept conversation to the bare minimum required for work. After I got over my relief, I had a huge case of what the devil is going on. I'd been pulled out of training before, but not an actual NBL run. That required restarting the entire thing, which was expensive and an enormous loss of training time. Heck, the way the suits were configured, it took 2 days just to replace a crew member. Short of a medical emergency or equipment malfunction, nothing interrupted an NBL run. So what would Clemens think was so important that it couldn't wait? And why weren't they telling us? The lift out of the NBL's pool took ages. As my helmet breached the surface of the water, the stand I was strapped to supported the 140 kilograms of my suit. Trying to walk in a full suit in Earth gravity is not possible. Even just the bottoms are like, well, it's like wearing diapers in a snowsuit made of lead. The robot in Lost in Space had more grace than we did. I hung in the donning stand as a swarm of suit techs helped us to disrobe. When you want answers, everything seems to take longer. I waited for my suit tech to remove the tools and tethers and leg weights. As much as I wanted to rush her, everything had to be done in sequence. On the other side of the donning stand, Raphael was going through the same slow, careful extraction from his spacesuit. It was like My suit tech was moving underwater as she opened the valve on the side to depressurize the spacesuit down to below 1. Sure, I could talk now, and she could hear me along with everyone else listening in on the comms. My suit tech put her hand on the release of my gloves. Breathe out. I exhaled as the remaining bit of delta pressure eased when she popped the glove. It wasn't likely that I would blow out a lung, but over precautions were the IAC's stock and trade. The suit settled around me as she pulled the glove away, then finally she reached for my helmet. The moment it was off, I asked her, "What's going on?" She glanced over her shoulder to the control room. "It's the FBI."